What's going on there, folks? Good morning, good afternoon to those out there. It is the Earthmaster here with an update video on this Tuesday. The date, pretty cool today, 2022 is the date. 11, what do we got? About 11:49 a.m. California time here along the West Coast. Latest quake shows some movement out there around the Puerto Rico area on the Earthquake 3D globe. Looks like a 2.5 earthquake around the Puerto Rico area. Seeing a little bit of movement in that region today and overnight. Activity, of course, majorly impressive yesterday with that westward push of the plate systems there along the western part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Quite a bit of movement, quite a bit of large-scale activity. We did see some activity, of course, last night with that pretty deep 6.0 in the Argentina region. And seen some further activity around the Tonga area overnight as well. A little bit more shallower earthquake with that 5.5 on the Earthquake 3D globe. Let's go ahead and check out latest information here on the USGS map. Showing the activity here worldwide over the last 24 hours, 2.5 and above. It looks like we kind of last night when that earthquake activity ramped up here in the South America region with that 6-pointer, we've seen kind of a halt, if you will, kind of a stoppage of all that earthquake activity that we were looking at yesterday, pushing its way westward along the Pacific Plate and areas to the west, coming into quite a bit of resistance, adding on to some back building pressure here along the North American Plate and the South America region. Seen that activity kick up last night, and it looks like that is continuing today. Still got to watch this area to the west, though. We did see that 5-pointer down in the Tonga region. I think this originally came in as a 6.0. A little bit closer to around the Tonga Trench, 159 kilometers into this region. No further deep activity along the Fiji Islands area or the Solomon Islands. But still, kind of a iffy situation right now. Still think we're building up to something big. Let's look at the activity happening overnight and this morning. Of course, United States here, the North American continent, see a little bit of uptick in activity right around the Nevada area and throughout the Oklahoma and Texas region as well. As far as microquake activity kicking up here along the West Coast, yep, we got it. A little bit of it kicking up along the San Andreas Fault and around the San Francisco Bay area. Let's check out this earthquake up here around the Pyramid Lake region, the 3.0. Striking up here just south of this, what is that, Traced Hills Fault Zone, it looks like, just on the north end of the Pyramid Lake region. I believe we see some activity over there within the last 30 days, kind of ramping up. Let's check out the all magnitudes map here. And yeah, definitely, seeing quite a bit of swarming activity there along the western end of Pyramid Lake there in Nevada, and also up in the northern part where we've seen that 3.0 strike today. Mostly microquakes. I don't think we had seen too much in the way of 2.5 and above. So this looks like it's the largest earthquake here in that little swarming of activity there around the Pyramid Lake region. Looking at the rest of the area throughout Nevada, some movement around the Mina, Nevada. Areas along the eastern Sierra Nevada is still pretty quiet, though. Look at Long Valley and the Antelope Valley region. Still not showing a whole lot of earthquake activity in that area today, or over the last couple days. Up around the Mount Lassen region, a little bit of activity north of there, 1.9 at 3.3 kilometers, and a little earthquake near Lake Almanor, underneath Lake Almanor, I should say, 1.5 at 6.4 kilometers. So yeah, we're still watching, watching this eerie quietness here along the eastern part of the Sierra Nevada. Ridgecrest, even spotty at best there. Not a whole lot of movement here in the southern part of the state. Yes, we are seeing the earthquake activity, obviously, right, along the San Jacinto Fault Zone. A little bit of swarming out here around this mountain area. What is that? Chachula? Something like that. Trip Flats, whole area around the Anza area of California. Some microquakes getting in on the action there today. And over here around the Salton Sea, a little bit of activity off the Brawley seismic zone, a couple small microquakes. No major swarming to speak of anywhere along the west coast. Intermountain West area, looks like the USGS added a little bit of earthquake activity that we are looking at on the live seismograph stations there yesterday. Some earthquakes, about 5 earthquakes or so popping up here. Let's go ahead and check out the latest Yellowstone overview And they had a pretty good swarm kick up last night for a short amount of time. It's going to be this earthquake activity right here. Definitely more than 5 earthquakes, but hey, they're going with the biggest ones. At least they're counting them there. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a lot more than the 5, but looks like they're getting to them. Over the last hour, a couple hours or so, we're still seeing that earthquake activity ramp up. Nothing significant. These are very small microquakes here in this area of the Yellowstone Park over the Lake Yellowstone region. But every single one of these spikes are indicative of the earthquake activity. A little bit of swarming over here back around the northwestern part of the plate here. Some activity. Little bit of spotty movement here, looks like, but overall general seismic activity along the northwestern part pretty mellow for right now. Getting back here to the USGS map, a little bit of activity throughout Montana and the Idaho region, and of course Utah stretching down around the Cedar, Utah area. Outside of the greater Salt Lake City area, some activity. Looks like a couple small earthquakes. Couple of small ones there, definitely under 2.5, around the 1 range, but some of it's pretty deep there at 11 kilometers. What do we got here in the Texas area? Oklahoma, out here in the oil and gas fields, definitely seeing a little bit of activity. Nothing significant, but there is still continued movement there. Eastern part of the country, very quiet. Check out the Puerto Rico area. Of course, that's been kind of kicking up here within the last hour or so with the continued ongoing swarming southwestern part of Puerto Rico and around the Mona Trough up here towards the Puerto Rico Trench. South America, of course, we had that 6.0 in the Argentina region, very deep into the Peru-Chile Trench. And since then, it looks like we've seen one earthquake further up north, a little bit more shallower. This is a major accumulated stress builder here along the subduction zone. Pretty lengthy as well. 123 kilometers for that 4.1. Looks like that occurred just a couple hours after that 6.0 last night. Hawaii. So what's been going on with Hawaii with all this action? We haven't really seen a whole lot. It's just kind of been just sitting there, not doing a whole lot. We only got 13 earthquakes of pretty small magnitudes around the southeastern region of the Big Island. One little lone earthquake up here around the looks like Fern Forest area at 3.6 kilometers for that 1.9. But overall, it's just been kind of just riding with the waves, so to speak, with all this earthquake activity we've been watching there along the Pacific Plate. Japan, today a little bit more quieter story. Some of this activity older, like I mentioned, though, just kind of come to a halt over here in the west with general activity, seismic activity kind of increasing from the east once again. No activity here in the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, but still kind of watching it, folks. We'll keep a close eye on it. Yesterday was quite a busy day in the earthquake department for sure. What do we got further west here? Some of this activity, again, much older earthquake activity. It looks like one Afghanistan earthquake up here, 4.1, the most recent quake in that area. Over here around the UK, of course, we covered that yesterday with that 3-pointer. And up here in Iceland, we had a 5.0 kickoff overnight, early this morning, it looks like. 7.7 kilometers out there. No further subsequent movement following that earthquake, but we did see some kind of oddball earthquake activity way up north over I think it's been over the last week. Let's see, yeah, it's been probably a little bit longer than that. We'll go 30 days, 2.5 and above. There's that little swarming of movement up here north of the Iceland area that we had been watching, just 5.7 and a couple 4s kicking off. Even this earthquake way up here, seen some way far up there earthquake activity in the northern part, northeastern part of Greenland region, 4.3. Let's see what else we got. Let's go back to the there we go. It's more like it. Middle America Trench, some activity off the coast of Guatemala. That a little bit older earthquake activity from last night, 4.3. Of course, that earthquake down here in the Antarctica area. The Balleny Islands, 6.3, originally a 6.6 magnitude quake there, but no further movement down there. So just kind of an interesting day to see, see what takes shape here. It was pretty crazy the amount of earthquake activity we witnessed over here yesterday. Looking at the last 7 days, 4.5 and above kind of shows you the general movement, general push of westward activity. We haven't seen a whole lot though of earthquake movement, pretty much from the Gulf of Alaska, as far as like 4.5 and above, downward up until the this earthquake here in the Guatemala region, that 6.2 that struck there a few days ago now. So still got to watch this region, potentially northern Cal southward up along the Cascadia subduction zone has been very quiet as well. No tremor from yesterday, continued ongoing quiet spell there at the Cascadia subduction zone. It's just a little on the strange side to see this much quietness going on there. Let's see what else we got. Earthquakes Canada map. We'll go ahead and check them out real quick, see if these folks are reporting anything new, which they are. And speaking of the Cascadia zone, kind of looks like the northern end of the Cascadia, or at least on the western side of the plate boundary here. Got the Explorer plate up here within this region, Juan de Fuca plate south, the subduction zone of the Cascadia running from this blue line here on the eastern side southward to northern California. We are seeing a little bit of activity back building up here, 3.0, 3.3 I should say, and a couple other quakes here within the last hour, including a 3.9 just right on the Pacific side of the plate boundary here. So I'm glad these guys are kind of showing the activity, some further movement up north as well. So like I said, got to watch this area of the west coast pretty closely with that that halting there, that halting of the west coast, or the westward movement there on the Pacific plate. What else we got to check here? I think that's about it, folks. Going to cover the activity a little bit later on. Just wanted to get a quick morning update out. Don't forget here at, I'm going to try to catch it at 2:22 p.m. There's going to be a whole lot of twos kicking up here when it comes to the date and the time when you're looking at the watch and whatnot. Pretty crazy. I always believed numbers have significant meanings in life, kind of like a code, if you will, when it comes to the programming of life, so to speak. Pretty crazy. Yesterday I went to Walmart and bought some items, just some random items. I actually bought a bunch of stuff I really didn't even need, and paid with cash. Anyway, my change came out to $7.77. So it's always kind of cool to see these numbers. And for me, of course, the 333 number has been a very significant number with life in general, and of course me and Missy Mimi's. So yeah, it's always I don't know if you guys notice numbers and patterns of numbers, but it always tends to point to something, some event, either life-changing event or something going on. So we'll see what that 777 brings. Maybe I'll buy a lottery ticket later, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, folks, have a good day out there, stay safe, and we will chat you guys a little bit later on this evening with the update video. Peace out.